Hi, my name is Caitlin, and welcome back to my writing channel. I'm starting this new series, Unfiltered Coffee Chats, to talk about my recent musings about writing and more of a reflective, sort of chatty video where you guys can get to know me better and hopefully I can get to know some of you guys better in the comments below. And I just want to have a very raw and real discussion about writing and some of the particular struggles that writers face in their process of writing their books and pursuing their writing/publishing goals. So I have a bunch of notes and things that I want to talk about for today's video, so I'm going to be glancing through those from time to time, but get really cozy. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me, and I have with me a cinnamon maple coffee with oat milk. So glad you're here with me. Please get a drink and get comfortable, and let's dive right into this week's video. The theme that I wanted to pick for this week was gratitude, because it is Thanksgiving tomorrow. And if you're not American, then happy random Thursday in November. But I really wanted to do more of a deeper kind of video than I've been doing for the past few weeks. And I think part of the reason has to do with the fact that I am a new YouTuber and I'm new at content creation. So I've been sort of struggling with where I want to take this channel, like how vulnerable do I want to be with my content? How how much do I want to let you guys into my mental state and the process? Like, do I want to do more superficial videos? More like aesthetic vlogs, or do I want to do more craft-oriented videos where I'm talking about the craft of writing, where I'm not really, like, my personal life is not really present in those videos at all? Or do I want to be very vulnerable and share more of the process? And as someone who is an introvert and is working through, like, my fear of being perceived, I've been thinking about that for the past few weeks. Like, I still don't really know what the right balance is for me personally yet. So if you have an opinion or any kind of advice for me, please let me know, because I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I honestly don't know what the right balance for this channel is yet. I've been trying to balance craft and vlogs, but honestly, I'm still figuring out what feels right. And I think that will just come with time. So I'm not too worried about that, but it has been on my mind a lot lately, especially as 2024 is wrapping up and I'm starting to think about what my 2025 goals will be, because I know that my very first video on this channel, back when I started in September, I was talking about my writing goals for the end of 2024 and what I wanted to achieve. And those were primarily, one, querying Project Gold, which is my first manuscript, and two, writing a full draft of a second book, which is Project Paradise, my dark fantasy book that I hope to turn into a series. And if you've been following along with my journey, particularly I'm referring to my query letter critiquing video, then you know that it's been sort of rough. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I have not held myself fully accountable to my querying goals. Yeah, mentally, I've not been there. I have not felt ready to get back into the query trenches after that whole Reddit fiasco. And even though I've sort of accepted and moved past that whole thing, I've worked through that emotionally, so I'm not really hung up on the critique anymore per se. It's more that experience has made me reflect more deeply on my why. So Particularly, I was thinking about, why I want to publish Project Gold and if I even should. So, for example, I do think that I am the only one who can tell this story because it is so deeply personal, talking about Project Gold. But the questions that were coming up for me was, even though I am the best person who can tell this story, does it need to be done so publicly? Is exploiting my trauma for entertainment what this book is? And is it going to be beneficial for my mental health to pursue traditional or even self-publishing with this book, just because I will have to open myself up to everyone's critique of my work and myself? And contrary to what a lot of the comments seem to assume in that video, I am perfectly okay with going through rounds and rounds of edits on that manuscript, because that is what I have been doing for the past 5 years. It is what I am still currently doing. And I've gone through many rounds of revisions with Project Gold, and I still am. I'm going through the last maybe like 50 or so pages as of right now. So I do have the capacity to work on this project as I have been for the past 5 years. It's just that I'm not sure, or I wasn't sure if I have the emotional capacity, or if it's not capacity, but if it is a self-loving thing for me to do to myself to make this work public, and thereby letting go control of how that work is perceived, how I am perceived, and how that work will be received by everyone else. Because at that point, it's not even about me or the work. It's about how other people, what they make of it in this story. Because everyone makes a book into their own after reading it. And in a way, the author is really not relevant in this story anymore, which is, perfectly fine and normal. But yeah, I was just like, do I really need to make this a public book? Should I just set this aside and accept that this was a fun project and move on to better things? And, books that I feel like will represent me better as a writer now, because my skills have increased. I do think I've grown as a writer. So do I really want to debut with this book, or do I want to set this aside for a future project, or maybe just like not at all? Anyway, let's take a little coffee break. Yeah, so I realized that pursuing writing as a career has kind of made me forget why I even fell in love with it in the first place, and I've lost touch with my why for writing. And I think that's really super important. Like, every writer needs to have their why really solidified if they don't want to give up and they don't want to give in to their inner critic, and if they really want to continue writing seriously. Otherwise, you're just going to get discouraged really easily, and criticism and praise are going to derail you from the path you're supposed to take. But yeah, I've really been struggling to define why I'm pursuing publishing with Project Gold, as I mentioned, and why I'm even writing Project Paradise, my project that I'm drafting right now. Because like I said, actually, I did not say this, but recently I had a conversation where I was explaining that I don't feel like I have the time or energy to really explore my personal tastes in books anymore. Like, I feel like the last time I really took the time to enjoy reading for pleasure was in middle school, early high school, where I was reading a lot of fantasy. But then after a certain point, like, reading just became homework, and I was just reading things that the teachers were assigning me or professors were assigning me, and there was not a lot of room for me to actually fully immerse myself in a world and enjoy myself, which is exactly why I went into writing in the first place. And so because I've lost touch with that side of myself, and because I'm pursuing writing full time. Like, I don't feel like I have, the time to really get to discover that part of myself again, just because I feel that pressure of time to start earning money with my creative outlets. Like, I feel the pressure to monetize this channel. I feel the pressure to publish a book, to get a book deal, right? But obviously, if I'm going into content creation, YouTube, and also writing with the purpose of just making money, that's not sustainable long run, because then all of my hopes and dreams are going to hinge on something that's not within my control. And that's just going to sour my relationship with my writing and with video making, which are both things that I actually do really enjoy. And I don't want to lose that love that I have for both things just because I need to support myself. Yeah, so honestly, the soul searching that I've been doing the past month or so has been really uncomfortable and kind of difficult. And it's felt kind of scary and lonely when obviously nothing is guaranteed. And on the outside, it seems like everyone else has it figured out, or they have, it's so easy to make comparisons. And that's not helpful, right? So I'm trying to step away from that. But it is hard not to do when you're already feeling low on certain days, right? So I'm not saying I do it all the time, but it is easy to give into if I'm not being very conscious about it. And because of that reason, that is why I want to share my recent musings on writing and the different things I've discovered, just in the hopes that it can reassure anyone else out there who is feeling a lot of doubt, insecurity, feeling loss. And I hope that this can be a source of comfort and hope that you will figure it out. And it is completely normal to have these kinds of thoughts and questions about your life, about who you are as a writer, but also as a human. And I hope that you can come away from this video with a sense that it's okay to not know everything right now, to just accept that you're figuring it out like everyone else, like I am, like I'm sure people watching this are. And that does not get easier as time goes on, but it does not have to be something that you do alone. So yeah, I wanted to actually, hold on, let's take another coffee break. Because I feel like I've been talking for a bit, but I actually wanted to share a journal entry that I did from actually right before I started filming. I wanted to gather my thoughts on the page, but I actually want to share what I wrote just because I feel like it really summarizes and best exemplifies the things that I've been thinking about and what I've concluded in these weeks and weeks of feeling lost. Okay, anyway. So I wrote, last night I found my why for Project Gold. These past few weeks, I've felt lost in the wilderness of doubt and fear. Was the story good enough? Should I keep pursuing publishing it? Why did I want to? My answers are threefold. First, Project Gold taught me how to write a book, and more importantly, that I can. It gifted me with the tools and confidence to pursue writing full-time. Second, there is a need and space for stories about the real, raw lows of life. My love for BoJack Horseman is a testament to that. Seeing characters struggle as I struggled was a source of comfort to me when I had no other life raft and didn't know how to ask for one. Through BoJack and Diane, I felt seen and, in a way, saved. Without feeling seen, how do we know we're real? That the pain we feel is valid? Third, Project Gold reflects the dark nights of my soul. Everything my protagonist has felt, I have felt. Part of the resistance I felt about publishing this book is that I don't feel like it represents who I am as a writer right now. Now, I want to write stories that make people feel happy, to make the world a better place by sharing my bliss through space and time. But I realized that without Project Gold, I wouldn't be here now, writing stories of love and hope and joy. And that version of me deserves just as much care and affection as my current and future selves. I want to tell my past self that it's okay, that she doesn't need to feel ashamed of her sadness and rage and bitterness, that she's safe with me because she's an integral chapter of my life. And whether or not Project Gold is ever published, I'm so happy that I've made peace with my reasons for it existing. I can finally let that part of my past rest a quiet slumber. Yeah, I feel like that summarizes everything, and honestly, it feels like a weight off my chest now that I feel so solid in my reason that it doesn't really matter what anyone else assumes about my reasons for publishing it or not publishing it. And whatever happens, I just feel so grateful that I even got to write this book, because I genuinely learned so much from the process and it was so meaningful to me. And I think every book has the power to do that for every writer. And each book represents a different chapter of who they are in their lives. And that is so meaningful. And to be able to share that with the world is another gift that I hope one day I will be fortunate enough to be able to do. So I kind of wanted to end up this video with the facts that I'm still falling in love with writing again. I'm not fully there, but I'm on the way. I'm very close, and I want to be able to share that journey with you guys here, hopefully, or maybe some of you guys relate to this struggle or journey. If you do, please let me know, because it's just, honestly, I read all of your guys' comments, and every single comment really warms my heart knowing that someone else out there is actually listening to the words I'm saying, that right now I'm literally just in my room, my dog is here, and I'm talking to a camera. Anyway, and I just wanted to remind you guys that art supports life and not the other way around. And I wanted to close out finally with saying how grateful I am from the bottom of my heart that 700 of you guys are subscribed to me and watch me just chat about writing. I'm so grateful that I started this channel, 2 months ago, and that you guys are all here. I have so many ideas in store for different video ideas to share with you guys, and I can't wait to do them. Like, I have a bunch of ideas for revision videos that I am excited to film and make. And yeah, just let me know if I should do more vlog style videos or more like craft oriented videos, because ultimately this is about serving you guys and whatever value I can bring to the community. I would love to do that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.